Hello, everyone. I'm sure glad you're back to, to to our visit to Mary's little house of Centerville. Peanut, Peanut's resting already. He might go to sleep. He hasn't slept. Let him talk long enough yet. But Peanut's been a wonderful doggy. Uh, I'll have to tell you about all he's been going through. Um, a friend of mine I said, Jim, you sure have your plate full to that. And there's two things that happened recently, sort of dovetailed or simultaneously. I was diagnosed by my doctor that I have diabetes stage 2. Well, that just changes a lot of things, and you like a whole new world in eating and everything. By the way, I ate a whole those big canisters of oatmeal, quick oats. Uh, Within a week, I was eating. I ate that for even today on Sunday for breakfast and for my lunch, and with a sandwich and other things too. But oatmeal's really being eating a lot of oatmeal lately. They say that's really good for your diabetes and all. But and I'm getting so many friends giving me advice and are very um, supportive about uh, 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 helping me with my diet and my lifestyle has to change, and so I couldn't get my arms around that. It's getting better, but then at the same time there was uh, infestation of fleas that Peanut got. We never had that ever. We had pets for years, Cindy and I never had trouble with fleas, not to this extent, and it's been really tough. And uh, poor Peanut is been he's it teaches me the patience in suffering. He doesn't complain, and I give him all this stuff flea stuff, and bathing uh, more frequently and all that. He's just been so. I wish I could be as patient as Peanut is with his little trials and tribulations. He's really been good. One time he came in here. He's on my lap now, but he came in and just laid down flat on the floor. Now it's hot too. It's very hot around here, and our air conditioning just we're 83. That's all the way it goes, but it's sure a difference than outside. So it's fine, but it's not real cool in here. But he lays down on the linoleum. This is a linoleum or vinyl floor in my office here, and he lay down and he went to sleep, and he lay down on his side, and I had his arms like a lamb that's just been slain for the sacrifice. They tie his little legs up, but he didn't wasn't tied up, of course, but his legs were all like a little lamb. Like I thought and he was so quiet, and he was sleeping. He was like a little lamb ready for sacrifice, and so he's he's really been a wonderful dog going through all of this, and I identify with his sufferings, and so I make his sufferings part of mine too, so I can offer that up with our Lord on the cross, even his sufferings. When I see him scratching so hard and almost to bleeding, it's so horrible. We're getting it under control, but it's still a little battle. I want to. So these things were all there, and then first Saturday, well, I have to get the house clean and everything. I didn't know how with the diabetes thing, with the flea infestation. Didn't know if anybody would even come. I called everybody to tell them that I've had that problem, but it's getting controlled. But they all came. They all came. Not be, they weren't afraid to be infested by fleas here. So I really admire them, and I appreciate them coming. And in spite of that, I had to warn them, though, fair warning, but they came anyway. Um, my cup was running over, not only with Grace's, but with lots of things like the diabetes stage 2 and Peanut's problem, and Marigold's too. Marigold's a lot better of the flea infestation. But I had so many friends for the diabetes. I still do, commenting on Facebook and on the internet. Have so many a dear friend is helping me with this flea infestation, who is just really caring too. I'm just so blessed. But what I want to talk to you about today, with all this around me, is sometimes our lives we feel like we're over the top, that we can't, that we're all alone. Now, for me, I have people say, "Oh, you have a support system. Your family supports you," and they do. They're so wonderful. I've been without a car, but now my brothers and sisters they got a car that was in an accident. A tire from an 18-wheeler came across the medium and blasted into the radiator in the front in the front of the car, and they fixed that car up, and it's only a matter of time, that they'll be delivering it. My family does support me. Oh, you have they say you have your ministry. My God, do they support me too? So I'm fine. I'm fine. Uh, I'm just a spoiled brat. God's taken good care of me through my family, through my ministry, through friends who really care and have supported me over the years. I'm just so blessed. But having said that, there are times in our lives that, with all the support you have in there, that you feel so alone, that 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 there's it just life is very hard. Things that you can never share with anyone. Uh, uh, just it's just you just feel alone. You just feel alone. And so uh, and I wrote today, if you get the reflections before his face is the name of it. Uh, I give a daily reflection, and I just quoted a paragraph from Father Gary Gu Lagrange. He is one of the great of this last century, um, the greatest theologians that the church has ever had. And I just love to read him he was quoted in Magnificat. And I just put one quote, and he was saying that when we are in those dire straits, when we don't seem to be, we still feel alone, and we feel overwhelmed, and there's no place to go but up, so to speak. He didn't use all those words. He used more better. He meant better words than I do. But there's just no way. What he said was, and that's what I want to say in this YouTube. When you're in that way, and it's nothing else is working, nothing. It's just for complete forlornness and abandonment. The whole world's just going, and you're all alone. And people get that way, even with a big support system and all. It's a diff. It's anyway. Uh, when you're there in that stage, abandon yourself totally and completely to God, and God will take over your life. God will guide you through the darkness. God will strengthen you where your weakness is just so overwhelming. God, that's the point. When you get to that point where you're just completely at a dead end, completely in the doldrums, completely dark and alone, and don't know what to do, abandon yourself totally to God with all your heart, with everything, all of this, and God will kick in. God will take over your life. God will guide you in His ways to the kingdom, and through all this. Now, that Gary Goulagran said that, it was so clear, you don't have to be a theologian. He was a great theologian to understand that, and it just clicked in my life. When I look back, even more this recent thing, God did take over. This was this infestation that Peanut had of the fleas, and then I said, my God, I've got to be watching, reading every label I eat. No, how could I do this? It was just felt very overwhelming, and so I said, God, I just kept on going. I kept on using the flea stuff I was supposed to use, going to the vet, getting all this stuff. I just kept going. I just kept on going, kept on trucking, trusting in God, because I gave it all to Him. I couldn't believe that the house was so nice. Now I hope it's for my people to judge if I got the house pretty good. But I mean, I think I did, and I had to fight the fleas and all that too at the same time, and eat oatmeal. I I know I'm going to get tired of oatmeal, but people send all some delicious recipes and suggestions. I boiled eggs. That was one thing. You can't boil an egg. My first boiled egg, I ruined the pan and everything. I forgot it was on, and it turned into dust, and the pan even shriveled up on the burner. But now I boiled a whole dozen of eggs, almost a dozen, and they say those are good for you too. So I'm learning how to eat as a good diabetic. But my point is, again, forgive me for getting off the track here. When things are really tough, when to turn yourself over to God, He really just took over. I couldn't believe what I had to do, and there was some financial stress there too. I mean, really, you know, I just everything is working out. Everything is so beautiful, and God gave me a calmness before I would just panic attack with peanuts and fleas and this whole thing about watching your diet and all that. I would rebel or something, but I told someone and I tell you what I did is I offered when I heard the news and when I saw the implications of diabetes stage 2, I offered that to God as part of my cross. I accepted it, and that's what, and then I read this Gary Gould-Range, which I put on my daily reflections before His face. That's what I did, and that's what God's helping me through all of this mess, you know, and it's been marvelous. People are coming out of the woodwork helping me, and my family is so good. My brother, my mom, and my siblings. The ministry just they're there for me. The dear friends that God's given me, they're so good. But that's because God is taking care of me. God is guiding me. God has taken over, and I'm so at peace. I am so happy. So we're not alone. When we are really feel alone, God is with us, and He is just such a tender and loving Father. And we're in the dire straits, like Father Gary Gould-Lagrange said. Abandon yourself to God, and He will take over. And He did, and He does. God bless you.